We will continue the poem from the fifth stanza. The breezy call of incense breathing morn, the swallow twittering from the straw-built shed, the cock's shrill clarion or the echoing horn no more shall rouse them from their lowly bed. The poet is saying that now everything is in vain to get them up from their sleep. From their sleep, there means the old forefathers who are dead now. The breezy call of incense breathing morn, the morning air that is full of the fragrance of flowers is in vain. It cannot wake those forefathers. The swallow twittering from the straw-built shed, or a bird that is singing from its straw-built nest, is also unable to wake them up. The cock's shrill clarion or the echoing horn, even the sharp voice of the cock is not able to wake them up from their sound sleep. No more shall rouse them from their lowly bed. No one can arouse them from their humble bed of grave. It means the death is inevitable and no one can return from the death. For them, no more the blazing hearth shall burn, or busy housewife ply her evening care. No children to lisp sire's return, or climb his knees the envied kiss to share. For them, for those forefathers who are now dead, the blazing hearth shall burn. Shining fireplaces will not burn any more to cook food for them, or busy housewives ply her evening care. No housewife will perform their duties towards them now, because they are now dead. No children run to lisp their sire's return. Now children will um, not run towards them in order to climb on their knees and to get the kiss of their father. It happens that when a father returns, every children wants to get that loving kiss from his father, but this thing will never happen in their life again, as they are dead. Oft did the harvest to their sickle yield, their furrow oft the stubborn glebe has broke. Glebe मतलब land, stubborn मतलब very hard, furrow मतलब plow, हल जिसे कहते हैं हम. Oft did the harvest to their sickle yield, they often did the harvesting work with their sickle. Their furrow of the stubborn glebe has broke, and they were so powerful that they broke the land into pieces with the help of their plow. How jocund did they drive their team afield. They are very happy, and happily they drive their team. टीम मीन्स द ग्रुप ऑफ कैटल, जिन्हें वो अपने चरागाहों में ले जाते थे. उनके लिए आया है कि हाउ हैप्पीली दे ड्रोव देयर कैटल्स इन द फील्ड्स इन ऑर्डर टू eat grass. How bowed the woods beneath their sturdy stroke, and they are so healthy and they are so powerful that they could even cut a tree with their one stroke. They are so powerful, but now all the powers and all their talent has buried under the earth in their graves. Let not ambition mock their useful toil, their homely joys and destiny obscure. But now here the ambition is personified, because ambition has been detected as a person who is mocking at the simple people. But the poet says, Thomas Gray says, that let not ambition laugh at their hard work, their homely joys, though they have simple joys, but destiny or ambition should not laugh at them and destiny obscure their destiny, their fate, bhagya. Their fate was obscure, their fate was not clear nor grandeur. Here with a disdainful smile means they don't have a good fate, they worked very hard, they have simple joys, so ambition should not laugh at them that they have not achieved anything in their life. Nor grandeur, here with a disdainful smile. Here the grandeur is personified, it is given a shape of a person who is laughing, or who is looking hatefully on the humble people, the short and simple elegance of the poor, but the grandeur, the show off, it should not listen the stories of these poor people with a hateful smile on its face. It means the poet just want to say that ambitions and grandeur should not consider them, that they have not done anything in their life and their lives were a waste. The boast of heraldry, the pomp of power, and all that beauty, all that wealth ever gave awaits like the inevitable hour. Inevitable hour means the hour that will surely come, ऐसा समय जो जरूर आएगा, and that hour is the hour of death. The paths of glory leads but to the grave. So this is the most I think this is very important from the point of view of the explanation in your examination. The boast of heraldry, the pomp of power, all everything, nothing is permanent. The boast of heraldry, heraldry means hierarchy. The people who boast of their hierarchy and the pomp of power, and who show that they are so powerful, and all that beauty and all that wealth ever gave, and everything that is beautiful, or every wealth, every kind of prosperity awaits like the inevitable hour. Everything that is on this earth is not permanent, everything is waiting for the hour of death. The paths of glory leads but to the grave. Every life leads to the grave, path of graves. It means everyone has to die one day, so one should not one should not do a lot of show off, because beauty and wealth, everything is destined to death, everything will come to an end with the coming of the death. Nor you ye proud impute to these the fault. And now he's personifying every quality of rich people. He says that you proud, you should not blame these forefathers, they are not on fault. If memory of their tomb no trophies raise, if no monument is made on their graves, it is not their fault. Where through the long drawn aisles and fretted vault the pealing anthem swells the note of praise. He says that the long, they are not, there is no tomb erected on their graves, means कोई भी monument नहीं बनाए गए हैं, but there, where through the long drawn aisles and fretted vault the pealing anthem swells the note of praise. But the loud music of praise can be heard through the nature. Can a storied urn or unanimated bust, and urn means the pot in which the bones of a dead, the ashes of a dead person is kept, मतलब अस्थि कलश. एनिमेटेड बस्ट मतलब हाफ स्टैचू जो किसी की याद में बनाए जाते हैं. कैन स्टोर्ड अर्न और एनिमेटेड बस्ट बैक टू इट्स मेंशन कॉल द फ्लीटिंग ब्रीथ. The poet is asking a question to proud and grandeur and ambition, that can the beautiful urns and the half statues that are made in the memory of people can return their breathe again? Can honor voice provoke the silent dust, or flattery soothe the dull cold ear of death? He says that can honor provoke the silent dust of the grave. It means can it bring back life to the dead person, or flattery soothe the dull cold ear of the dead. A person is flattered, a rich person is flattered by praising after the death, but can this praise bring back life to that person? No, it is not possible. The poet says that all these things are useless because they cannot bring back life to a person, so these are not that much useful